This is Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 22nd meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for Monday, August 22nd. Can you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Shannon, can you please?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Okay, Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Priest?
Here.
Mr. Lang?
Here.
Mrs. Sperling? Here.
Testing. It appears fine. Thanks.
Okay,
All right.
now that everybody's awake.
Did you complete the roll call?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Priest?
Here.
Mr. Lang?
Here.
Mrs. Sperling? Here.
All right, the minutes from our previous meeting for August 10th were prepared and presented prior to the meeting. Unless there are any changes or corrections, do I have a motion to approve?
I would move to accept the minutes as printed from August 10.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Right, any project updates tonight?
No, sir.
Any old business?
No, sir.
All right, table business, will we have a motion to remove the second quarter report from the table?
I would move that we remove the second quarter report, August 1 through June 30, off the table.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Right, at our last meeting, we reviewed the report pretty thoroughly, and there were some various items that needed to be updated and corrected. From what I can tell, all those were made. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion to approve the second quarter report for 2022?
I so move that we approve the second quarter report for 2022.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, we'll move into new business, and the zoo retail manager travel request. Good evening, welcome.
Sean Sheldon, retail manager at the Washington Park Zoo. For the past probably about 10 years, I've been going to this gift show in Tennessee. It's where I buy about 90% of my stock for the gift shop for the season. So it's coming up again this November. It is November 8th through the 12th in Tennessee. The nice thing about it is there's 3 big gift shows in each connecting town. So there's one in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg. So there's big convention centers, and they have gift shows going on at each convention center at each town. So I'm asking for permission to travel there to go get the stock. Just to give a little update, last year was an insanely good year for us for the gift shop. We did over $260,000 out of an 800 square foot gift shop. So
Wow.
this year's actually looking to be pretty comparable. As of right now, to date, we're at 209,000. So we're going through a lot of stock, and I honestly feel that it's because I keep the items stocked and I have different stuff every year. So the members that come back every year are getting new items and are looking at new things.
Fantastic, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I so move that we allow Sean to attend the gift show in Tennessee on November 12th, November 8th through 12th. And she buys some pretty neat things there, and that's why they sell. So well done.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Next up is the Golf Now contract.
Chris Magnuson, private contractor at Michigan City Golf Course.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So just a little introduction. I know the contract this year says Sports Next, and a few board members were confused by the name change. This is our Golf Now contract. I think this is about our 8th year. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
8th.
8th or 9th year. This is our point of sale and online tee time booking system. There have been some changes made. I guess the biggest change is this is going from a hardware system to a cloud-based system, which our IT department is very excited about. They no longer have to maintain the servers and the hardware equipment that fails quite frequently because of communication problems between our north and south course and electrical issues that we have out there that we're working on with NIPSCO. So there's been a lot of back and forth on this contract between our staff, Golf Now, between park board members. I'm not a golfer, so I do the best I can to answer any questions that you might have, or possibly Chris can answer them if I cannot.
All right, thank you for that introduction. First of all, any general comments about the contract or the change from where we are?
The change isn't that very severe or anything. It's the same trade time, so the cost isn't going to be anything different. It's just there's a lot more stuff that we can do with tracking purchases and stuff. It's the number one used around the country, Golf Now, for inventory and stuff for golf courses.
All right, thank you.
And on another note, the new credit card processing company, they're expecting us to save around $3,000 in credit card fees per year, so that's huge.
While we're talking credit card fees, I was looking at the chart. Is it safe to say that we pay about 5.6% with this credit card, with this new agreement? And I get that by taking the blended rate of 3% plus the Golf Now 2.6, adding those together for 5.6. And Shannon, so it's I see you looking at page. Yeah, there was one on the email that is the easiest to read, at least for me. It said blended percentage with 2021 increase, and it's got 2.79%, 3%, 3%, 3.17. And then there's the Golf Now rate of 2.6% that's added to it.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I mean, that would account for the savings.
Who do we
Again, I'm not
currently
sure
use for
where
credit card
all
processing?
Avalon.
Avalon.
And who's that through? Do you know? Is it the local bank or our current merchant? And the city use Avalon? Or is it just the golf course?
So the city uses several different payment card processors. They're trying to consolidate those through the controller's office into one system.
Smart.
But we've been waiting for a few years for that to happen.
Okay.
So in the past several years, it's like every couple of years we're going through and trying to compare all these credit card companies, which is nearly impossible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it depends on the customer, it depends on the bank, but everything is processed through, for the golf course, Avalon, which this company is no longer going to support. That's why they're wanting to move it. But Sean has a different payment system. Our recreation has a different payment. So until the city consolidates that,
Sure.
it's kind of like all over the board, and it's very inconvenient for us. And the rates are just so hard to pin down. It's different for every card, every bank, every user.
So every transaction, whether it's concession or a card fee, greens fee, merchandise, it all go through. Okay. I've got a couple other questions unless someone wants to.
You go ahead.
It mentions here, the hardware they're providing, and he listed it out in detail with an iPad, a cash drawer, a receipt printer, iPad stand. Is that for both North and South Course?
Yes.
Okay. So the system ties together, but you have hardware at each spot.
Hardware, yeah.
In regard to the booking engines, there's Golf Now and there's teeoff.com. And his description indicated it's an online distribution platform. Is it the same thing, or why are there two?
Because it's just their partners. One is the online part and the other one is us manually putting it in.
Okay, so
I think
teeoff.com.
Tee-Off is the one that's the online, when you go online to book it, it comes up with a different italicism in the box. And when we manually put it in, I think that is Golf Now.
Okay, when you manually put it in, is someone paying on over the phone?
Somebody calls, we put their name in, manually,
Okay, what if
First.
someone,
online.
gotcha. Do you put it in if someone pays at the desk? Or-
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so everyone who plays gets,
Gets put in.
what, can you give me some more information on the Smart Play? It says it's a new mobile app functionality for check-in pay features. I didn't
That
understand.
is an on and off function that we can use where people don't have to come into the clubhouse, where we can manually swipe them and have them on record. I choose not to do that right away.
Sure, but that would
Because
be
I
an
want people
option,
to come in every day and check it.
right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, they could go right to the T box and go,
Yeah,
okay, all right,
not good.
right. All right. I went online today and did just try to play around booking and everything. I thought the system was really cool. And the current one, it's
It is.
simple, it's easy,
Very simple.
it's quick. I was trying to find something that I didn't like about it, and I couldn't.
Good. No, it's the number one booking agent. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the only other question, military discount, that's come up to us before in another, whether it's parking, and that we've denied that in the past, if I remember it, Phil. It's come up.
Yeah.
So that's one, if we do it here, we're probably gonna have to expand it to the park, and I was a little worried about doing it here since we've routinely denied that request for parking and other things. So that's just my opinion. We could talk about it this board.
That feature can be turned on and off as well.
Okay. So maybe initially, it would be my proposal then. I think they have it on to turn it on here. My initial thing would be turn it off and we can revisit it, always turn it on.
At any time, at any point.
A more thorough.
Yeah.
discussion.
How do you feel about the military discount? Do you get people asking about
They
it?
do quite a bit.
Yeah, and, so it's not something that's been done before at the golf course?
They've
And,
been asked, but no, we've never done.
okay, and this says 15%, but is that an all or nothing? It has to be 15%?
I doubt it.
Okay,
I think it's just been used as a guideline.
yeah. And then how does that work? Do people have to carry a card or something? Or-
Yeah.
Military.
Military card.
Yeah, and kind of prove it or whatever. Yeah, okay.
So Chris, you're the one owning this in terms of making sure that they're on site for the installation, that you're the subject matter expert in terms of how the program works, all the marketing tools that they say they can bring and the analytics and if anyone has a question about the whole system, do they go to you? Yes. Okay. Excellent.
And just to interject, our IT department will be on site during installation so they can get their staff trained. They do have service through this contract. I think it's 24/7.
24 hours, yeah, it is 24/7.
However, with some of the problems we've been having with the electric, the communication lines and fiber out there, IT jumps in quite often because they can get them faster.
Yeah, very.
So they've offered to come out, learn the system, make sure they're familiar.
That's good.
I just have one question. I was looking on the page that has hardware items included, and I looked at that and I'm like, wow, is this something that every time that this is renewed, you have to go through all of these different items, or this is one
Just a
time?
one time, it's a big upgrade.
Yes, yeah, yes. Thank you.
On that note, I had a question with all that equipment. How long is the contract? Is it renewed every year?
3 years. and
3 years,
everything.
3 years.
And that includes all the equipment,
Yeah, all of it.
obviously. That's part of what you're paying them for.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
There's
And
an-
the support.
Mhm.
And the support is great. They're always,
Yeah.
they call quite a bit.
Mhm.
And there's an automatic renewal clause, which I don't like. Unless you give 30-day written notice prior to the end of the
Mhm.
agreement, it's gonna automatically renew. I'm not as concerned about this one because we're such a partner with them. It's gonna take quite a bit to move from this group because of their point of sale, their online system. So if we were gonna move, we'd have to do it well ahead of the 30-day notice.
Here,
So,
it would be yearly. You have to do it fair for years.
yes.
I have two questions. On it's not really a page number, the second page at the top, it was the deposit, under deposit terms, there's 15% of the sale price shall be collected at the time of booking. And then later it says that's paid by the person booking it.
Yes.
What is that about?
Online, when you if you want to book a tea time, you have to put that percentage down through Golf Now. It doesn't go through our system.
Wow. So people pay 15% of the fee just to book it online?
You show up.
Do they get credit for it? when they
Yes,
show
they
up?
get credit.
Oh, okay.
It's just-
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, why wouldn't they just call you?
it's like a
Okay.
rain clause. You got to put that down. If you don't show, they still pay. You still pay it.
Gotcha.
Who retains the 15% at that point? They do.
Oh,
So
We're
Is that
guaranteed
something
the
new?
cart fee. No,
oh. You're guaranteed the cart fee. Okay.
that brings up the whole walking thing and the cart fee. Help me explain, because when you go online, it says walking.
Well, that all changed when COVID came because we couldn't promise you a golf cart, so we had that taken out. But they would before the COVID, they would take all the fee. Since COVID, we get the cart on the trade times alone. Now, when you book online, we get that money, all of it,
Except for the 15%.
except for the 50
And that's
trade.
nothing new at
Nothing.
15%.
Nothing.
So they get 4 rounds a day plus 15% of whatever's
Each
booked.
course.
That's 15% of the play or the cart fee?
The play.
The play. Okay.
And that's only trade time. That's not
That's only what?
trade times, the ones that we get to have our software and hardware. That's what we give them.
Mhm.
But on regular, if you go there to book it, it's not with it, what we call a hot deal,
Mhm.
trade time, we get all that money.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's
So,
only two
Just those
rounds
4 rounds.
each course. per day.
It's 2 foursomes a day.
That's where the 15%,
That's for the,
not on anything else.
not on anything else, not on anything
Thank
else,
you,
only
Vic.
those rounds.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
What would you do then, or what's your proposal now that we can guarantee a cart?
Leave it the same.
Leave it the same?
So we get all the money. Because now we're getting money on the cart fees with trade times, before we weren't getting any.
Okay.
So now we're collecting some money for the carts, where before we weren't getting any.
Does it create confusion if someone's going to online to make a tea time and it says walking only, and then they might say walk?
They do call in a lot about that. But a lot of times now, when everybody has their phone, they always, can I see your reservation? Then we can show them where it says walking only, and here's our cart fee. So
Sure.
they're getting more used to that.
Is there any way we could put, in order to eliminate some confusion, walking only cart available?
Yeah, we
I
can
don't know, when you
design that.
arrive
We
or
can
something.
design that when they come and do the upgrade.
Yes.
Make it bigger. But
Yeah, let them know.
walking only,
Yeah, because
not just small.
maybe I missed it, because when I was on there trying to book it, I thought I had to walk. I didn't think I'd have the option to get a cart.
Right? Yeah, we put that carts are available.
Okay, I just
That's
missed
not
it.
on. It's not on.
Oh, okay.
But we get a lot of calls. You have carts. Yeah.
So maybe if we, when they're in this time to do the upgrade, if we can make it a little more,
The
Yeah,
carts are
obvious.
available at course.
So then that second box, it was $2.49 per round is the transaction fee.
Mhm.
So that goes to, well, it says here that like you get 50%. Is that how that works?
Next, the golf now collects it.
Yeah.
And then we get it when the
You-
person checks it.
Okay. And then the third box, then what is that 10% service charge percentage? service fee for smart play purchases. That's an additional.
Smart Play is the new feature that I don't think we're gonna turn on. That is you can check in at the T and not have to come in.
Oh, that's the one you're not gonna do, the mobile one. Okay, that was the addition,
Yeah,
that was
that's
the
the
new
additional.
plan. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Convenience charge.
yeah, okay.
Chris, don't take it like we're here peppering you. I know we are, but it's not the intent to put you on the spot.
I'm ready.
You're not on trial.
We just have a lot of questions. And I appreciate you coming tonight to help
Thank you
us
very much.
understand
My
the
pleasure.
contract.
My pleasure.
On the, the page before the really tiny financial statement, printed financial statement, it was like the first section, it was number 2. It says one of the things that they do, we want to give your golf courses as much exposure to the Golf Now golfers. So what they do, I was talking a little bit ahead of time, this is just a group, like you're part of Golf Now. Do you, I mean, does the average person like pay something to be part of Golf Now?
No, anybody can
just-
go online and be a member of Golf Now and we pop up.
Okay, so they're marketing to those people who are signed up for it, but
Right.
this doesn't market to people who are not part of Golf Now.
Yes, they do commercials all over.
Okay.
They're huge.
Okay. Then in the summary of existing agreement, number 1 showed that they delivered $12,000 in online revenue on the South Course, $7,000 on the North Course. So was this new clients they brought in, or is just people who booked through Golf Now?
It's
Some
just-
could have been new
I think it's everybody. Well,
and some could have been
yeah,
existing.
regardless of this.
Okay, so that's not all, that's not
That's not all.
what they brought in, but that
No,
was, okay,
no.
gotcha. And then the second thing was that Golf Now products and services, the Golf Now reservations, POS and T-sheet system. That wasn't listed down here with the new proposal, but that's all part of it, I'm assuming,
all part,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
We currently have that.
T times 3. And then under the new proposal, number 1, letter C, it says T times split fee booking engine. That's a new thing. T times split fee booking engine. Oh, is that that $2.60
That's a $2.49.
that you
yeah.
split? Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So maybe I didn't understand the reservations. Can they fill all your reservations if people book through them, or was there a limit to what they can book?
There's a limit to what they can book
Okay.
based on, if you go online and somebody books a tea time right now and you go on 10 minutes from now, you
Yeah.
can't get 10:48 or whatever it's booked.
Mm-hmm.
And we can manually block.
Mm-hmm. But do they have Golf Now? I mean, basically, they have access to your entire schedule if people.
If it's open, only if
Yeah.
it's not being filled.
Okay, so it's not like there's some restaurant booking site where they only give them 4 tables a night, or
No,
okay. Do you guys do standing reservations? And then what do people do if they're part of Golf Now? Do they book through Golf Now, or do they just book that through you?
they do both.
Okay.
Just, did you get a standing tea time? You have to. You
Oh.
can't go.
Okay. I didn't know if they went online.
You can't just block in.
scooped them all up.
On Tuesday
Yeah.
at 10.
And then again, when they book with you, then you don't have to pay these fees,
No.
right?
No.
It's all Michigan City.
Right.
Okay.
Questions from the board? Some questions from the public? All right, Chris, I want to thank you again
Thank you
for,
very much.
I'm sure you're happy with them and the
So very happy,
partner.
very happy.
You wouldn't have brought this
Oh, yeah.
before us if
Right,
you weren't.
yeah.
Thanks again, though, for
Thank
answering
you.
the questions. It added a lot of
Thank
clarity.
you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
There are no other questions or comments. That's the pleasure of the board.
I would move that we accept this Golf Now contract that's printed in our package.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next up is the professional services agreement with GM Fedorchik and Associates for the senior center renovation project.
Yes, this is a renovation project that requires plans and specifications. GM Fedorchik is the professional service that we would like to get a price from. We got the price and the contract has been reviewed, but he is a little bit concerned about the insurance requirements. So I will need more information and I would like to table this.
Okay, thank you.
Next question.
Certainly.
The insurance is the big holdup right now that we have to.
It's the professional liability insurance
Uh-huh.
that he said he hasn't had to have in the past.
Okay.
But he does now, so he's waiting on a cost.
But otherwise, what we read in here is what we want. Correct. Okay, thank you.
Also, it says that we pay them upon completion. There's no money down to start with.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Recommendation is to table. You have a motion to table the agreement?
I would move that, excuse me, that we table the proposal. Do we do it the next meeting or it until our what meeting in September 7th? September 7th.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next up is the professional services agreement with Voda and Associates for the Splash Park Conversion Project.
Yes, Voda is the contractor that we have a proposed agreement with. And also we need more information regarding insurance before we can bring this up for approval. I would like to table it.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions or comments from the board?
Actually, that was the one, I was looking at the wrong one. That was the one that said no money down. So I just want to make sure, because it was a big expense, so they don't want anything down at all. Okay. Maybe they're both that way, but
Ed, you thanks for answering some questions earlier about this, but there was one that they eliminate from the scope the discharge of the water. So they're hands off there. Do we have a solution for that?
The solution would be working with the sanitary district. They were very nice about talking to us about their work. And I'm not sure if we have to have a contract with another department, but they're willing to work with us.
And what does that mean? Work with us?
That means they have gone so far as to fill in the information on the form for a permit for this effluent sewer system. And that they would actually find people to come out and take the test and do the testing of the water.
So the reason for these questions, I don't want to get down the road with this group if we don't have a solution in place to deal with the discharge. And I have no idea what that solution is. So is it just testing, or is it equipment, or is there
It's
chlorinization?
it is dechlorinization. There was a price in the proposal that I showed you when we discussed the approval of using Gasvada. It was, I think, $9,700 cost up front. And they're willing to work with us. And if you would like me to find the intricacies along with that, I will for the next meeting.
I think that'd be great. I just want to make sure that we don't sign a contract for $32,000, then we have an open issue that we haven't resolved or don't have a contract with the finish. Or if it's coming shortly thereafter and everyone's got it pretty much tied up, I'm okay with that. I just it seems like it's maybe just in my mind, it's a void right now. There's a gap. I'm uncomfortable.
I will get the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one question, and again, it's just, I think my mind is beginning to fail me. But we're talking about the fact that any of the water that goes into the sewer has to be dechlorinated. Now, if someone is taking a shower, their water goes into a sanitary sewer. Those people are not paying to have to be chlorinated. Why do we have to do that when the sanitary district was going to dechlorinate to begin with?
That's a good question, Kent. The two systems are defined as sanitary sewer and storm sewer.
Okay,
So if the water is being drained into the sanitary sewer, it does need to be treated and there is a cost for that. When water drains into the storm sewer, it can't be going into Trail Creek without being treated or
Okay, that
chlorinated.
makes
So
sense. Yes,
it's because it's the storm sewer,
yes,
but
okay,
less
yeah.
expensive than the sanitary sewer.
Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? The recommendation is to table. We have a motion to table.
I would move that we table this proposal until our September 7th meeting. Was that enough time, Ed? Until September 7th?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next is the 2022 Bolt for the Heart major event.
Thank
License
you.
agreement.
Included in your packet was a major event license agreement. This is our standard agreement. Bolt for the Heart this will be the 4th year that it's been posted in Washington Park. They buy AEDs for police and emergency vehicles. I believe they're probably close to the $80,000 mark of what they have donated to LaPorte County at this point. It's a great organization. We really don't do anything for them. We provide the space and the support, so I would highly recommend that their 4th year event gets approved by the board.
Thank you, Shannon. Questions or comments from the board? Questions from the public? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
I so move that we approve the 2022 Bolt for the Heart 5K. And that is to be held on July the 19th, 2000. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, October 29th.
October the 29th.
Sorry.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, we have a request from the Michigan City Fire Department for the MDA Fill the Boot campaign.
This is a return event that again was postponed due to COVID. So many of you will remember for many, many years, I don't know how many exactly, the fire department has collected money for MDA at the entrance to Washington Park during Labor Day weekend. In years past, they would collect on all 3 days, but as they're just trying to get this started up again, they're only asking to be out there on Monday, Labor Day, September 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They do park a fire truck at the entrance. They set out a couple of banners and fire men and women literally bring fire boots out to people
Yeah.
entering the park, and they donate it. It's been very successful at this location. Prior to Washington Park, they did this on the intersection of 421 and Highway 20, which was proven to be extremely unsafe. Probably more so
Wow.
today. So again, I would recommend this is for a great cause. We don't do anything for them other than give them permission to collect for their program.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments from the board?
Are we we be in the park department, are we going to try and have staff to collect the parking fee?
Our staff is gone for the year.
Maybe people coming up with $15 will throw it in the boot.
Oh. You should volunteer for that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
This is an extremely beneficial endeavor, and we've done that before, and I definitely approve this. The MDA Fill the Boot campaign on Monday, September the 5th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next is a resolution number 970, whereas the superintendent of the park and whereas the superintendent of the Department of Parks and Recreation has reported that certain transfers are necessary within the budget of the Michigan City Department of Parks and Recreation because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts which do not have sufficient funds available for disbursement for such accounts, for such expenses. And whereas there are funds available for said purposes in various other accounts which are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of the budget year, and whereas the Michigan City Park and Recreation Board has determined That said, expenses are necessary and that an account transfer should be made in order to meet said expenses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purposes stated herein. Decrease fund 2056504 zoo fund, vacation buyback $2,180. Clothing, safety, and equipment $569, and increase fund 2056504 zoo fund contractual $2,749. Unless there are any questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move, we accept resolution number 970.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any other items we need to attend to tonight?
No, sir.
All right, that brings us to the superintendent report. Mr. Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Letchford. This evening, I will report on the zoo, Millennium Fountain, Winding Creek Cove, park maintenance. A $100,000 donation for the Big Cat exhibit was received on August 11th from the Michigan City Community Enrichment Corporation. We are very grateful for this donation. Jamie Huss and I will be attending their September meeting to personally thank them on the behalf of our entire park department and park board. The concrete walls at the zoo Big Cat exhibit have been placed on the south side and of the cat exhibits. Work on the transfer cage is starting today. Next Thursday will be the demolition of existing lion and tiger enclosures. Pop-up inspection at the zoo concession went well and passed. Who at the Zoo will return this fall, October 22nd, 10:30 to 4 p.m. I would like to remark that Millennium Fountain is still looks fantastic and amazing despite the mechanical equipment problems. Winding Creek Cove, the visit to Winding Creek Cove, concrete approach, and bridge deck at Peanut Bridge were completely replaced and restored. It's an amazing thing that the city saved this bridge and utilizes it for public recreation. This evening, the Park Department and the Park Board and the mayoral administration would like to thank the Redevelopment Commission for their considerate donation of $10,500 to have this work completed. Park maintenance. On Wednesday and Thursday of last week, park maintenance removed 18 dead trees in Washington Park, 4 dead trees at Pullman, 1 dead tree at Gardena, 5 dead trees at Memorial, and 2 more dead trees to be contracted out at Memorial. California Ave parking lot, we had a meeting that was held to discuss the most effective way of the draining solutions. The boat race improvement meeting to be held after Labor Day, and I'll be attending that to come up with some ideas if there are any improvements needed in the boat race. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions or comments?
I just have one question, Ed. You had mentioned a large number of trees that have been removed. Do we have any program in place to replace trees that have been removed, or is this just something that we chalk up to experience?
Well, we don't have an arborist right now, but they are interviewing arborists. And I think by having one, that might be a good thing to start replacing some of those trees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I'd just like to clarify something that Mr. Shin said. The Michigan City Community Enrichment Corporation gives us $100,000 every year. This is not a donation. It's part of the agreement when the riverboat came to Michigan City. So much of the money from the riverboat goes to community enrichment, and by contract, the first $100,000 of that annually goes to the Washington Park Zoo. Then it's dispersed in other manners, but just to be clear, that was not a donation, it's by contract.
And that money has to be spent on fixed assets or capital improvements. Shannon or Ed, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to talk about it, but in terms of parking, and it's, what do you think we can do in future years to avoid having to shut down early in terms of having a staff available.
So a couple of things, just to explain to the public. 5 or 6 years ago, we would have 4 to 6 retired people on our staff that would be able to carry us through when school started, which was typically like a week before Labor Day. Every year since then, school's starting earlier, and once COVID hit, none of the seniors felt safe working with the public. So I haven't had any seniors or non-school people on my staff in probably three years now. So we are going back to looking at automated parking systems to see if that partially, be used partially with staff or completely going automated. Some of you might recall we looked at this 8 or 10 years ago. It was extremely expensive at the time. So we kind of walked away from it, but technology has changed greatly since that time and the costs have come down. So we do actually have our first meeting. It'll be confirmed tomorrow, but I think it's September 21st. We have one company coming in from the Detroit area. I've met with them several times. They're very familiar with the park. And I would like to thank Michael Vincent from the Board of Works. He stopped in my office last week. It was very timely and agreed to be on a steering committee. He's also retired, so he has some time on his hands and he wants to help out with his city. So I appreciate that and fresh eyes on it. And we'll be reaching out. There's a couple of companies in the Chicago area. There's a lot out there. So I researched this in March of last year, just briefly online to see what was out there. I produced a short report for the board, some pros and cons. I think you added to that. So I shared that with Mr. Vincent. If anyone else would like to sit on the steering committee, I welcome the extra set of eyes because I'm not really familiar with this new technology. So, but I think we have to look at it. I mean, each year it's getting to be more problematic. Just with the students that we have, going back to school August 10th, 20 years ago, it was after Labor Day. So we're not the only ones having the problem. We're losing lifeguards. Someone did inform me that the New Buffalo area schools do not go back until after Labor Day. So that's something we'll look at next year all across the board to keep these kids working a little bit longer. But right now, that's the solution we're looking at is automated. And if you have any other ideas, I'm grateful to hear them. It's killing me to close down this.
Oh, yeah. The
That's
cost.
such a great idea. And you're right, with technology advancing, those costs do go down over time. And then with I know there's some car washes that are heavily automated like that. And then they take a picture of your license plate. Like you can see it on the screen when you're paying, so that's a good thing for security reasons too.
Right.
Yeah. So
there's a
that's
lot
awesome.
of variables. Washington Park is not easy park to work with compared to some universities around here. I went out and looked at a lot of different places. Everybody says New Buffalo, but New Buffalo's one way in, one way out, 40 spaces.
Mhm.
It's just a little bit different. We're
Yeah.
100 acres, 1,100 spaces, several entrances and exits. So
Mhm.
like I said, any ideas are appreciated. Mike Benson had a lot of great ones that he's seen in person already, so
Yeah.
appreciate his time.
And your first meeting is on September
I
21st?
think it's the 21st. It's not confirmed yet. They
Mhm.
emailed me early this morning, so
Yeah.
said they're in the Detroit area, but they also do New Buffalo,
Mhm.
several other parks and universities in our region. So we have
Mhm.
something to go out and look at.
Yeah, cool.
And they have everything from the pay apps to the pay station. So
Mhm.
I'm excited to meet with them and see what's new.
Yeah, would you mind emailing us that date and time, the park
Absolutely.
board, and we can, if any of us can come, we'll come.
Yeah, the cost may not be as daunting when we factor in how much revenue we're losing.
Correct. So I know it is 9:21. It's the day of a board meeting, 1 p.m. I'm just waiting
Okay.
for Mr. Neff to confirm.
Okay.
So I'll shoot out a confirmation email. I expect here by tomorrow.
Well, the lost revenue and of course the cost of labor through the whole summer, even though we may need someone there at busy
And
times.
the flip side of that is enforcement. You
Mhm.
go totally automated. You have to have the enforcement.
Mhm. Mhm.
A lot of cities and towns are extremely aggressive with their enforcement and actually make more revenue off The people
Yeah.
that don't pay, than the ones
Mhm.
that do.
Well, do they have, I mean, I'm sure there's options, but the arm comes down. Again, that's how it is at these couple car washes
There's
that I.
pay in, there's
Yeah.
pay out, there's gate
Yeah.
systems, there's, the pay apps,
Oh,
there's.
mhm.
But again, a lot of factors to consider because we have snow on the ground, so you can't use encumbered spaces year round. Just, there's a
Mhm.
lot of variables.
Mhm. Yeah.
I did see a lot near Chicago a couple of weeks ago. And I thought it was just a terrible example of a pay app with a parking space number. So you pay, you go to parking space 28, but
Mhm.
because of the snow,
Mm.
it just had strings on the poles across the lots. with
Yeah.
numbers. And
Yeah.
you can't do that much.
Yeah.
A lot to think about.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Any vandalism to report?
I'm sorry.
I asked if there was any vandalism to report.
I'd like to report that the continuing vandalism at Tall Timbers is all that I'm reporting. Tipped over garbage cans, picnic tables pushed over, and that's kind of a continuing thing over there.
Thank you.
I have a question. Sure. Shannon, I know, and you've already covered it, the pandemic and how it decreased our retirees or older citizens from wanting to work there. Have we tried to just target the older citizens that perhaps now that I guess the pandemic it's not gone, but it's a lesson. Perhaps some of them would come back and
So we have, we reached out to Michigan City Senior Center, of course, that was
Yeah.
our first targeted audience. I also called all of the staff that I've had over the last 3 years that didn't return, asking if they would come back even on a limited basis for 5 weekends,
Mm-hmm.
10 to 5 or 10 to 6, shrinking the hours, and just no interest at all. Part of it is fear of violence right now. too.
Yeah.
It's not just the pandemic. It's
Right.
people
Mhm.
are afraid. They're
Yeah.
more afraid to be out there in the open.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yes, we did. We started in May, knowing our students were going back early. Many of you remember Fran. She ran the parking operation. She's got quite a few retired friends. So yes, I mean, everyone that we could think of, and we
Mhm.
got zero interest.
Mhm.
It prompted us to look back into the automated systems.
thank you.
Right, fix it before next year.
Another idea on that demographic would possibly be like church bulletins, to put that in there. There's a lot of people who are older who go to church and, again, this would be for next year. Not at this point, I'm sure, but just an idea,
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to liaison reports. The Plan Commission meets tomorrow night, and I'll report at the next meeting. Port Authority, Mr. Freeze.
Yes, it was a meeting, but the everything that took place was within the Port Authority itself.
Thank you. Zoological Society, Mr. Lyon.
The Zoological Society last met August the 9th, and I gave the report at our August the 10th board meeting. They will meet again on the 13th of September, and so we'll have to wait until then before there's another report.
Thank you. Attorney's report, Ms. Nierenberg. Thank you. Any director's reports tonight?
Now,
All right, then Department Finances, Mr. Lyon.
Michigan City Park Department claims docket for August the 22nd, 2022. Municipal, $77,395.14. Golf petty cash, $1,591.50. Zoo endowment, none this time. Total claims, $78,986.64. I so move that we approve the claims docket for August the 22nd, 2022.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Payroll number 16 with a pay date of August the 12th, 2022. A total payroll of $102,880.16. I so move that we approve payroll number 16 for 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under gifts and donations, there was one zoo donation, part of the Roundup program, for $88.18. That is the only one under that category. I so move that we approve that donation under gifts and donations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under minor transfers, Administrative Fund 2056.502, a decrease in account 422.033 pesticides/chemicals, $627. A decrease in account 422.031 household supplies, $150. That comes to a $777 decrease. Increase in account 723.031 repair parts, $409. Increase in account 429.001 other supplies, coming to $368. That comes to $777. So the two accounts just show that literally we're moving things around. No account is being increased or decreased without a funding of the same amount in either the increase or decrease category. I so move that we approve those minor transfers.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Zoo Fund 2056.504, a decrease in account 436.010. Repairs and maintenance building, $541. Increase in account 439.090. Contractual, also $541. I so move that we approve this county measure in Zoo Fund 2056.504.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Zoo Endowment, none at this time. Board of Works, none at this time. Credit card charges, none at this time. That so ends the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Lang.
You're welcome.
Any comments from the public tonight? Seeing none, comments from the board?
I would just like to thank Pat and his crew as I travel around looking at our parks in the city. It just really, they're immaculate. I know there's vandalism and trash, but they just stay even anyhow. They're not falling behind. So again, a great job.
Thank you, Phil. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, our next meeting is Wednesday, September 7th at 5 p.m. right here. Motion to adjourn.
So move.